Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. You are very loved and very appreciated. Okay, Sag, so looking at your second week of November, you come in with eternal youth centering and is this me? You would think that by reconnecting to a youthful part of yourself that there would be a need for centering, but I don't think that that's what's happening here. I think that this is what you're looking at, but it's coming through your ability to center who you believe yourself to be. And I say that because these two are very connected. Is this me? The quote for this says, "I cannot recognize myself. As I can't remember the road that led me here, how can I see the road ahead?" Centering talks about the distractions that cause us to think that things in our outer world is what is defining us. And distracting you from your own spiritual essence, which I think in this case is youthful. It's youthful, it's hopeful, optimistic. And I think that your questioning of the things in your outside world that you think are defining you are creating this centering, which is bringing you back to this place of experiencing things in a, obviously a youthful way, but more like not jaded. But Sagittarius, absolutely, and it would make sense, right? I mean, coming after the darkness and death of Scorpio, it's finding the optimism after going through all of that. And very much so, Sagittarius has the ability to see the cup half full. So something may be happening where you're questioning what is going on in your outer world, how that defines who you are, and reconnecting and recentering yourself in a more youthful, fun-loving, optimistic part of you that, may have been suppressed due to the constant goings on of the outer world. This is my job, this is my family, this is my income, all that stuff you think is you, but it's not. Those are just things that are defining a personality that you're wearing right now. But your true nature is peace. And I think that a lot of you are coming back to understanding that. You're overall the Page of Wands, and again, youthful and excited, right? I'm sorry, but I can't help but think of the Witch's Tarot every time I see the Page of Wands. That is the happiest kid I have ever seen. This is optimism. This is being excited. It's having really good communication coming through that may be preparing you to take a new path, to experience something new. Clearly something that you have not done before. But what you do with this is your choice, right? But I think that this is something that is the focus here, the communication that you've been wanting to come in or waiting for. For others of you, you may be giving that communication. And this may be somebody who is helping you to see a new path that's more in alignment with that youthful part of yourself. But exciting, it's new and exciting, and the pages always want to take advantage of that opportunity and do something with it, right? In the past, the Queen of Cups, okay. So the Queen of Cups in the past could talk about a person and the emotions that you have, or this could be somebody coming back through that is communicating to you in a way that it's exciting to see where maybe a connection or a relationship will go. For others of you, this is being in tune with your emotions. She's the mirror. She reflects back to people what they're feeling. Highly emotionally intuitive, but very nurturing of others' emotions as well. But typically she likes to show up for me when something or someone has got us in our feelings. But this is exciting with the Page of Wands. I say that, and then you have the Four of Cups in the present moment. Okay. And these may be the emotions from the past that are being reflected back to you, but I think that you're aware of that. With the Four of Cups, we're talking about apathy. It's being disinterested or looking at, the things that are being presented to you as just they're all the same thing. They all end up the same way. For some of you, this is, seriously thinking about how you feel about the experiences that you've had. And this disinterest may be kicking you into gear here and wanting to experience something different. There is the self-loathing that kind of happens with the Four of Cups, the woe is me, but I don't think that that's what's happening. It really does feel like a meditation of the emotions that are not fulfilling. And understanding why. But this could also be losing interest in something, though, too. Oh boy, okay, future conditions, the Five of Cups. And it's no wonder why is this me, because it would be the outer world that would be making you feel this way. So sadness, loss, focusing on the loss, not seeing what else is available, because, how can you not be upset when something doesn't work out, right? But I'm wondering here if something isn't coming through that's kind of kicking you out of this, especially if you've been open-hearted in the past and not exactly have gotten what, you expected, especially emotionally. It's like, I've been emotionally available and open, but what you're experiencing in the present moment is this reflection of, but I don't really have what I felt coming back. Why do all of these situations kind of go the same way? And some of you may be kind of stuck in that, especially if you've been open-hearted and didn't have, your needs met. So it's almost like, this opportunity is right in front of you, right? And again, this could be communication with a person here, but because of what you've experienced before, it's got you locked into focus emotionally on that. But then it brings you down to the Five of Cups where, there may be a realization that you've experienced too much sadness, or having your emotions wasted. So, and it would make sense that there is a need to have optimism about the road ahead versus, where you've been. I don't think that this is something you're experiencing in future conditions because of something outside of you that happens. Anything that has already happened to make you feel that way, you're already dealing with right now, right? Like, this isn't a new situation happening. This, I think, is outside of what is going on emotionally within you. I mean, all of it's water. And it's like, hey, Sag, come on, right? Like, hey, Sag, get out of that funk. Come on, let's go here. Let's go do this. And it may be something that comes through to you that just kind of reignites some passion within you. Your best path to follow, the Four of Pentacles. What are you holding on to? What are you not willing to lose is what I feel like. And obviously with, this disinterest and dissatisfaction and then this emotional suffering, it would make sense that, the advice here would be careful what you're clinging to. Because as you do that, with the Pentacles, it manifests in your outer world. But, it can be hard to be able to see what you can give to a situation if you think it's just going to end up the same way that it has before. So I would say just be aware of, first of all, what you feel like you have left emotionally, but also be aware of what it is that you're clinging to. And I say that because of these two, right? Okay. In your environment, the Ten of Swords. And, it's like, I'm tired of seeing this. And with the Four of Cups, it almost has this feeling of, like, I'm used to this. I've seen this before. But why is this what I experience? The Ten of Swords in your environment, this is the painful ending, right? It's the ending that nobody wants to have happen. But it is really about you getting up from it now, you know, especially with these. I feel like there is a reason to be optimistic, that there is something different that is coming through, but you may not be seeing it, you know. And again, with the Four of Cups, right, you've got the cups sitting in front of you, and you're just, yeah, you know, it's whatever, it's all the same, nothing changes, da da da, and you don't see the Ace of Cups being presented. Like, okay, clearly that wasn't what you wanted, the universe is going here, how about this one? But it's like you're just looking at it, expecting it to just be the same, which ultimately leads to disappointment, right? But that is because of having endings that are painful for you. Now, you may be dealing with this and you're just kind of done with it emotionally. Like, I'm tired of investing emotions into it, but ultimately you do, because it's like, how can you not help but feel sadness? Especially if you are the one coming into this being open-hearted. Wow, man. Your hopes and your fears, the Seven of Wands, being able to stand up for yourself and what you believe to be true for you. Right? It's facing opposition, but you're facing your own opposition here. And it's all centered around the emotions that you have regarding a situation that comes to an end in a very painful way. But what is it that you're clinging to, and do you see other opportunities? Or is this all you're bearing witness to now, right? And again, it's not going to be for all of you, but, you know, if you're looking back at your past experiences, especially with emotional connections, and you're not happy with what you see, that doesn't mean that there isn't still an opportunity for you to have a new experience that creates that optimism again. It's almost like, where did that part of me go? But the Seven of Wands, making sure that it's understood where you stand. And I think that if you've been taken advantage of emotionally, and I say that because of the Ten of Swords here, this is you hoping that, you know, the point is put across. Like, let me be very clear about how this made me feel. That being able to speak up for yourself, right? Holding your ground. But the other thing is are you aware of what is, are you aware of what is grounding you? Because if it's something, you know, emotionally difficult, then you're just constantly speaking about the emotional pain or the emotional lack or how you've been taken advantage of. It's almost like repeating the same narrative, but it creating that kind of opposition for you where you're holding on to it and you're not seeing what else is available to you. Oh boy, coming out death. Yeah, speaking of Scorpio, right? Like, so death, the ending of all of this in a way where it's causing a transformation within you. And your oracle cards absolutely are pointing that out. But this has to be over with in order for you to even be able to take advantage of anything new or optimistic or anything that, you know, could reignite that within you. You know, and I feel like with the Page of Wands too being the overall, it's almost like I really didn't know what I was getting into, but I had high hopes. But I still think that this is something that's trying to get you out of this, you know, and I say that because of this right here. And how open you were before to it emotionally. But it's almost like, yeah, but because of what I experienced, you know, can I really? I'm too focused on all the things that have been lost. And how painful that was. And still holding on to it. The King of Swords. Okay. The Hangman, yeah, would make sense. And then the Hermit. Yep. And I think that's perfect coming out with death, right? The transformation is from within. The King of Swords being the past and looking at death. This is, you know, again, with the way that you may have used to be, where you were open emotionally. With the King of Swords, you're thinking more logically about things and doing it in a way where your emotions are no longer influencing, you know, the choices that you make, the way that you communicate. It is the huge transformation, you know, but there's a part of you that's still lacking. It's needing and realizing that needs haven't been met, but instead of, you know, taking any action, it's just, I'm just going to stay here. And I say that because the Five of Cups coming after this, but death is saying that that's all coming to an end. And there is going to be an opportunity for something more exciting for you, I think. But right now you're just like, yeah. The sacrifice that's required with the Hangman would be to let all of that go. Be aware of what you are clinging on to emotionally. And be willing to see things from a different perspective, in such a way where you're not so harsh that you're not willing to be open again, but being more discerning about who and what you are open to, especially if you are the type of person that can have your emotions affected easily, right? And then you have the Hermit. So again, with the Hangman, and you're talking about the sacrifice in order to see a different perspective. You know, things are upside down at the moment. Something is coming to an end. But for you, this needs to be over with in a way where a new you is created out of this. But the only way to do that is to go within. With the Hermit is looking at where he is at compared to where he wanted to be. And really what that means for the road ahead. And for some of you, it may be that you need to go back to that youthful part of yourself to be able to see kind of like, you know, the wonder of the world, where we end up losing that along the way through situations like this, right? New growth, strength, and new path emerging. I'm telling you. There's going to be another opportunity coming through, and it could come in the form of, you know, this exciting communication that may be bringing you back to a place where it's making you feel like someone you used to be. And this, again, could be coming through the form of a person. But because of what you've experienced, it's like, you know, how can you feel anything new, right? But new growth leads to the strength that you need for the new path that's emerging for you. But I think all of this, no matter what's going on, Sagittarius, I think that the most important thing for this second week of November is going to be looking at the things that you are pointing to in your outside world that you think are defining who you are. And looking at how that may have caused some spiritual damage. You know, and really, really understanding who you are. Communication is key. And then time to breathe out. Take time to breathe out. So some of you may be needing to communicate to someone that you're needing to have a break to kind of figure out who you are, where you want to go, where you want to be. You know, and again with the Seven of Wands and then looking at the Page of Wands, the communication and from the King of Swords needs to come from a place of just clarity, clear thinking, you know, logical communication. But it's in order for you to take a time out, right? To be able to kind of just breathe and focus on that and bring you back to the present moment. And not all these things going on in the outer world. Something in your outer world has defined you in a way, I think, that has made you start to question, you know, is this really who I am? But I do think that there is going to be an opportunity for you to experience something that is going to bring that youthful part of you out again, that more optimistic and hopeful part.